Welcome back to another episode of What Should I Get Pierced? My name is Scott Wilkinson. I'm a professional body piercer, and I've been one since 1994. Now on the show, we're basically looking at 4 different people, looking at their face, looking at their ear, and I'm telling you what options would work well for them for piercing, and ultimately what I think would look good on them. So, let's get started. Now, before we get started, make sure to hit that subscribe button. First up, we have Catherine. Looking at Catherine, we have this big, beautiful smile, which is telling me lip piercings. Now, we can get away with some possible spider bites on the side there. We could also do snake bites if you wanted to have one on each side. And we also have the Medusa area, which could support a large, beautiful piece of jewelry. So there are several options there. And then also looking at her nose, we could definitely get away with a septum piercing or nostril piercings. You know, one on each side. She has a nice symmetrical face, so that gives us a lot of fun options. It doesn't look like there's enough room for the bridge piercing, and the eyebrow area looks like that skin's nice and tight, and she has great eyebrows. You don't want to necessarily leave a big scar in this area, which would cover up those eyebrows. So my ultimate picks are going to be nostril and Medusa. Now, let's take a look at her ear. Now, immediately, there is a lot of curves to her ear, which gives us a lot of jewelry options. You can see this curvature of her ear, which allows for some fun jewelry in the rook. We could do a slightly thicker rook a little bit further out, just like so, or we could bring a normal rook in just a little bit further like that. Now, when we look at the forward helix, there's a nice flat ridge and we can hide it, but this little tiny gap right in here doesn't look like it's going to support the jewelry, especially up on the top. But if you wanted a lower forward helix, that would definitely work well for her. Now, also, we can see the conch has a nice curve, which means we could put a nice cluster in there. We could also fill in some helix piercings. And I love how she already has the stacked lobe piercings. Now, with the stacked, you could add a second stack right below it, or we could just add an additional couple piercings kind of going up. Almost makes it look like a constellation. But my ultimate picks are going to be conch and an outer rook. And our next submission is Leanne. So let's take a look at her face. Now, she did mention she wanted to get a septum piercing, and I think she should. It looks like she'll be able to pull it off really, really well. And it's all about the jewelry you're wearing. So if you want that real soft look where it's nice and tight in there, or you can do the super ornate. I love septum piercings. Now, also, if you did that small septum ring, you could also get away with a Medusa or a labret. Now, the other option is there's also the vertical labret. So there's a couple few options, and I'm seeing centrally located piercings here. Now, we could also do, as far as the outsides, doing some eyebrow piercings. Eyebrow piercings would work, singles, possibly even the doubles. And my ultimate picks for Leanne would be a septum and a vertical labret. Let's take a look at Leanne's ear. Now, when we're looking at her ear, there's a lot of fun curves here that we can work with. Immediately, I'm drawn right to the snug. We could fit possibly 1, 2, or 3 snug piercings. 3 would be a brutal heel, but imagine how cool that would look. There's also plenty of room in the doff. The tragus piercing doesn't look like it protrudes very far, so that might not work very well. But the rook is just screaming, "Pierce me." It doesn't look like there's much room up here for an industrial. That would probably reject out, but that does give room for a nice flat piercing. Now, my ultimate picks is going to be one I didn't mention. That would be a conch piercing and also a doff. And the next person we're looking at is going to be Misty. So let's take a look at her face. And immediately she has an awesome lip piercing. You can see that right down here. And I think we should balance it out. Have another one on the other side, the snake bite piercings. Now also, her center of her face right in this area here, I can definitely see a septum piercing with a nice tight snug ring, as well as a Medusa piercing. So that'd be kind of fun having both bottom lip piercings, the Medusa, and the septum. But there are still more options. We have nostril piercings we could get away with, and possibly a bridge. Look at this. We might be able to do a bridge piercing. I don't know if she wears glasses or not, or if her anatomy supports it, but it looks like that would look really, really cool. So my ultimate picks are going to be the side lip, the Medusa, and the septum. All right, let's take a look at her ear and see what will work there. Now, immediately, you can see that the tragus could definitely support a stud, and when it's healed up, even possibly a ring. And this is a perfect candidate for a doth piercing. You can see how that would fit in there very nicely. The doth comes out a little bit, but that ring is going to go right around it. I can't tell if there's enough room underneath the rook for a rook piercing, but we definitely have room to do a couple lower forward helixes. Again, the upper part here looks like it might be a little tight. You might be able to get in there. I would need to see in person. Again, probably not the best candidate for the industrial piercing, just because it looks like this area, the center part raises up and the fold of skin is very, very tight. But check this out. We could also do a vertical industrial, which would send it all the way down and into the conch. And the bead would not be on the front of her ear, but it would be behind the back of her ear. So having a long bar going all the way down, super, super rad. Now, as far as the helixes go, there's not a lot of room in there to support large beads, so you can do small little studs. You can heal these up, then maybe change to the rings, but you can see how that little fold of skin there makes it tough for large pieces of jewelry in there. And as far as the conch goes, looks like there's plenty of room for a cluster. You can do multiple piercings. There's plenty of options. Now, my ultimate picks for her, I'm going to say a lower forward helix, a tragus, and the conch. And the last submission we have for today is going to be Alex. So let's take a look at Alex. And we're seeing right away the glasses, which is going to limit a little bit of like the high nostril piercings, and also the bridge. I don't know if Alex has enough bridge to pierce anyways, but we have to see without the glasses. But you can see that there's already an eyebrow piercing. I love the look of the double eyebrow piercing on the same side, or being symmetrical and doing a set of eyebrows on the other side as well. The septum piercing would look super awesome, and if you didn't go with the septum, because there's not a lot of room here, you'd probably get away with a Medusa. And with a nice pouty lip like this, you could get away with a vertical labret, or any other sort of lip piercings, whether they're snake bites like so, spider bites. Ooh, we could also do cyber bites here. Cyber bites might be a really cool look. I know I don't suggest that very often, but that's a really, really fun thing. So my ultimate pick, pierce the other eyebrow and some cyber bites. Let's take a look at their ear. Looking at Alex's ear, we are seeing several things we can do. Definitely have room for the triple forward helix if they wanted to go that route. We could also do a rook piercing. We could also do an orbital, an upper helix orbital where you do two piercings like this. The ring comes out on top with the bead on there, and the bottom part of the ring on the bottom down there. That is another option, and we could definitely get away with a conch, and I could see the ring all the way around Alex's ear as long as it's healed up with the stud first. Possibly a little bit of room for the anti-tragus if they want to go with the anti-tragus. It looks like the doth might be a little thin in this area. I'm not sure if they could get away with it. So my ultimate picks are going to be, I didn't suggest this, but I just saw this, an orbital between the anti-tragus and the tragus, and a rook piercing. Awesome. All right, I love doing this. This is super fun. Thanks for sending your submissions. And if I haven't gotten to you yet, keep waiting. I will get more of these out very, very soon. Now, what do you think of my suggestions? Let me know in the comments. Now, if you enjoyed my video, make sure to subscribe, share it with your friends, give me the like, and of course, keep putting holes in your body. See y'all in the next video.